Listen carefully, because most people are making a huge mistake right now. They are spending coins, throwing them away, ignoring them like trash, not realizing that a simple 1-cent coin, a Lincoln Memorial Penny, could secretly be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. And what makes me angry is this: these coins are still out there, in your pockets, in your drawers, in your old jars, and people are blindly spending them like they are nothing. Today, I'm exposing the top 6 most valuable United States Lincoln Memorial Pennies, coins with different mint marks, rare conditions, and shocking auction prices. If you have even one of these, you might already be sitting on a hidden fortune. First, let's understand the history. The Lincoln Memorial Penny was introduced in 1959, replacing the wheat design, and it continued all the way until 2008. For nearly 50 years, billions of these coins were produced. But here's the truth most people don't understand: not all of them are equal. A tiny minting mistake, a slight variation, or a perfect condition can turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing asset. So let's get started. First up, we uncover the hidden truth behind one of the most misunderstood coins in American history. The Lincoln Penny series, first introduced in 1909, was created to honor Abraham Lincoln, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. By 1984, the Lincoln penny was already a long-standing symbol of American currency, with the familiar Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, introduced in 1959. These coins were struck by the United States Mint in multiple locations, including Denver, marked by the small D mint mark on the coin. Now let's talk about the 1984 D penny itself. At first glance, it may look completely ordinary or even worse, damaged, darkened, and unattractive. But this coin is made primarily of copper, 95% copper, 5% zinc, giving it a solid weight and a distinctive tone compared to modern pennies. On the obverse, you'll see Lincoln's portrait facing right, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1984. On the reverse, the iconic Lincoln Memorial stands tall, with fine details that can still be visible even on worn coins. The history begins in 1984, when the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. In fact, over 13.7 billion coins were struck that year, making it one of the most common pennies ever created. These coins featured the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1959. But there was one major change in this era that collectors often overlook. By 1984, pennies were no longer made primarily of copper. Instead, they were composed of a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This change made the coins cheaper to produce, but also far more fragile over time. Now fast forward to today. Many of these 1984 D pennies are found in terrible condition. Dark spots, corrosion, bubbling surfaces, and what collectors call zinc rot are extremely common. In fact, most dirty and ugly examples are only worth their face value, just 1 cent. But here, where the story takes a dramatic turn, not all damage is worthless, and not all ugly coins are truly ordinary. Some 1984 D pennies contain rare minting errors that can completely transform their value. One of the most important features to look for is doubling, especially in the letters or design. A doubled die or repunched mint mark can increase the coin's value from just a few cents to anywhere between $10 and $450, depending on its strength and condition. Imagine that, an old, dirty coin suddenly becoming a collectible treasure. There are also off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die break errors that give the coin a strange, unusual appearance. These imperfections may look like damage to the untrained eye, but to collectors, they are signs of rarity. Some of these error coins can sell for $2,000, $5,000, or even over $10,000, especially if the date and design are still visible. But here's the most surprising twist of all. Condition can be both your biggest enemy and your greatest advantage. While most dirty 1984 D pennies lose value due to corrosion and wear, there is a rare category known as condition rarity. Because the zinc composition deteriorates so easily, finding a perfectly preserved 1984 penny is incredibly difficult. In fact, flawless high-grade examples have sold for thousands of dollars, with top-quality coins reaching over $39,000 at auction. That means even a common coin can become extremely valuable if it survives in near-perfect condition. First, never judge a coin too quickly. That dirty appearance might be hiding a rare mint error. Look closely at the mint mark D under the date. Check for doubling, unusual shapes, or misalignment. Use a magnifying glass if possible. Many valuable details are invisible to the naked eye. Second, don't clean your coins. Cleaning may make them look better, but it actually destroys their collector value. Serious collectors prefer coins in their original, untouched condition, even if they look dirty. Third, learn the difference between real errors and common damage. Plating bubbles and corrosion are very common in 1984 pennies and usually add no value at all. But true mint errors, those created during the striking process, are where the real money is. And finally, if you think you've found something special, consider getting it professionally graded. A certified coin can sell for much higher prices because buyers trust its authenticity. The 1984 Lincoln Memorial Penny teaches us an important lesson. Value is not always visible. Sometimes, the most overlooked, damaged, and ordinary-looking coins carry the greatest potential. That dirty penny sitting in your pocket could be nothing, or it could be a hidden piece of history worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Next up, we're diving deep into one such coin, the 1959 Lincoln Memorial Penny with the D mint mark. A coin that marked a historic turning point in American coinage, and one that still sparks curiosity among collectors around the world. Stay with me, because this ordinary-looking penny has a story that's anything but ordinary. The year 1959 was incredibly significant in the history of U.S. coins. It marked the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and to honor this milestone, the United States Mint made a major design change to the Lincoln penny. Since 1909, the reverse side of the coin featured the famous wheat ears design. But in 1959, that design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, creating what we now call the Lincoln Memorial Penny series. The D mint mark on this coin indicates it was minted in Denver, one of the major U.S. mint facilities responsible for producing millions of coins each year. The 1959 D penny was among the very first coins to feature the Lincoln Memorial design, making it historically important as the beginning of a new era in U.S. coinage. The obverse, or front side, of the coin still features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design remained unchanged from the earlier wheat pennies, giving the coin a sense of continuity despite the reverse redesign. You'll notice the word Liberty to the left of Lincoln, the year 1959 on the right, and the motto "In God We Trust" above. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly at the center. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny depiction of Lincoln's statue inside the memorial, a remarkable level of detail for such a small coin. The inscriptions, United States of America and EPLUBUS appear above, while 1 cent is boldly written at the bottom. The D mint mark is located just below the date on the obverse side. Coins from Denver often show slightly different strike characteristics compared to those from Philadelphia, which can be important for collectors when evaluating quality. Now here where things get interesting. The 1959 D Lincoln Memorial Penny is considered rare in terms of mintage. In fact, hundreds of millions were produced. However, rarity in coin collecting doesn't just depend on how many were made, it also depends on condition. A coin in very fine condition, as we're discussing today, shows moderate wear. The major details are still clear, but the high points of the design, like Lincoln's hair and the memorial's lines, are slightly worn. While this condition doesn't make the coin extremely rare, it still holds value for collectors who are building complete sets. The real rarity comes into play when you find these coins in higher grades, such as uncirculated or mint state, especially with strong luster and minimal marks. But even in very fine condition, the coin represents an important transition in U.S. history, which keeps collector interest alive. So what is the actual value of a 1959 D Lincoln Memorial Penny in very fine condition today? In most cases, these coins are valued between around $15,000 to $35,000, depending on the exact condition and eye appeal. While that may not sound like a fortune, it's still several times its face value. However, values can increase if the coin has exceptional detail for its grade, attractive color, or if it's part of a larger, well-preserved collection. And of course, if you happen to find one in near-perfect condition, the value can rise significantly, sometimes reaching several dollars or more. If you're searching for this coin, the first thing to focus on is condition. Look for clear details in Lincoln's portrait and the memorial structure. Avoid coins with heavy scratches, corrosion, or discoloration. Pay attention to the color as well. Coins with original reddish tones are often more desirable than those that have turned dark brown. Always store your coins in proper holders to protect them from damage, and never clean them, as cleaning can reduce their value dramatically. It's also a good idea to compare your coin with grading charts or consult experienced collectors to better understand its condition and potential worth. The 1959 Lincoln Memorial Penny make you an instant millionaire, but it carries something just as valuable, a piece of history. It represents a turning point in American coin design and continues to be a favorite among collectors who appreciate its significance. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most misunderstood coins in American history, the 1982 Lincoln Memorial Penny without a mint mark. This isn't just another coin, it's part of a historic transition, a year full of rare variations, minting secrets, and collector obsession. To truly understand why the 1982 penny matters, we need to go back in time. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, had already become one of the most recognized coins in the United States. By 1982, however, something big changed. Due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a major decision. They shifted from the traditional 95% copper composition to a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper coating. This single change created multiple varieties of the 1982 penny, making it one of the most complex and fascinating years for collectors. Coins were struck in both copper and zinc, with large and small date designs, and from different mint locations, including Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark. Now let's focus on your coin, the 1982 Lincoln Memorial Penny with no mint mark. This means it was minted in Philadelphia, but that alone doesn't make it rare. What makes it interesting is the combination of features you might have. The coin could be either copper or zinc, and it could have either a large date or small date design. These differences are extremely important because some combinations are common, while others are extremely rare. Visually, the coin features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the words "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1982 on the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial Building, a design used from 1959 to 2008. In worn or ugly condition, the coin may appear dark, scratched, discolored, or heavily circulated, but don't let that fool you. Even ugly coins can carry hidden value if they belong to a rare variety. Now here where things get exciting. The rarest and most valuable version of the 1982 penny is the 1982 small date copper penny, but even Philadelphia versions without a mint mark can still hold value depending on composition and condition. To identify your coin, collectors often weigh it. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc version weighs around 2.5 grams. That tiny difference can mean the difference between a common coin and a valuable collectible. When it comes to rarity and demand, collectors are obsessed with 1982 pennies because of the transition year. Even in lower condition, some varieties are worth more than face value simply because people are still searching for rare combinations. An ugly coin may not look impressive, but if it turns out to be a less common variety or has an error, collectors will definitely pay attention. Now let's talk about value. In average circulated condition, most 1982 no mint mark pennies are worth only a few cents. However, Copper versions can sell for $10,000 to $25,000 depending on demand. If the coin is in better condition or has a rare variation, prices can jump significantly. Some high-grade examples or rare types have sold for $50,000, $100,000 or more. And if a coin has a minting error like a double die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the right auction. So what should you do if you think you have one of these coins? First, don't clean it. Cleaning can actually reduce the value significantly. Instead, carefully check the date, style, large or small, and weigh the coin if possible. Compare it with known examples online or consult a professional coin dealer. If you suspect it's something rare, consider getting it graded by a professional grading service. 1982 Lincoln Memorial Penny without a mint mark is a perfect example of why coin collecting is so exciting. What looks like a worthless, worn-out piece of metal could actually be a small piece of history with hidden value. Every scratch tells a story, every detail matters, and sometimes the ugliest coins are the ones worth looking at twice. So next time you see an old penny lying around, don't ignore it. It might just be your unexpected ticket to a valuable discovery. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into rare and valuable coins. Happy collecting!